Well, my name is Ingrid Nagy. I am a CSEP. I'm from Denver, Colorado, and my husband and I own a catering company called Catering by Design. Within Catering by Design, we have our umbrella company of 451 Events, which includes 3 brand divisions: By Design Event Decor, Catering by Design, and Denver's Picnic Company. I've been doing catering, and now I've been in the events industry since 1990, so it seems like forever. But for 24 some odd years, if I'm doing the right math, and still love what I do. I act as a CEO, financial general manager, and my husband's the executive chef. Perfect. Well, I started with ISES in 2002. I joined ISES because I was realizing that there was a whole world of networking that was going on around me that I was not a part of because I was not an active member in the organization. Really didn't even know what ISES was at the time. So I joined ISES simply to belong to something that was bigger than I was, and have found that that path has taken me a whole new direction. Denver, I always thought I lived in my Denver bubble and didn't realize that there was a whole events world. I mean, of course, I knew there were events taking place outside of the Denver market, but didn't realize that there was a whole network of opportunities and friends that I could be making on a not only national but an international level. So when I jumped into ISES Denver, I jumped in with both feet, and probably within 6 months was on the board of directors as a member at large, board member at large, and then started going through the ranks. I just became very active, took over committees, became one of the directors of the Denver chapter. I was president of the Denver chapter in 2007-08. And then after that was done, kind of feel like, oh my gosh, this whole culminating year is coming to an end. What next? And that's when I put my hat in the ring to volunteer for an international committee, served on a couple committees, and then threw my hat in the ring to come on to the Board of Governors. Served on the International Board of Governors for 3 years. Took 1 year as the International Marcom Committee Chair, and am now the Secretary for the Executive Directors for the International Committee, or for the International, ISES International. The branding of having the umbrella company 451 Events is new to us by about 2 years. Really, we did this because at one point we were starting to travel into different markets. Denver, or Catering by Design, has a very well-known international presence because of our participation at the Cater Source Event Solutions trade show. So we know quite a few folks in the catering and event world through that as well. I joined as Catering by Design. I've been Catering by Design for many, many years, and for me, I have not changed my membership over to 451 Events because for me, it's hard for me to answer the phone and say, this is Ingrid with 451 Events. It's a work in progress. So, but we did. I actually saw David Merrill speak in San Diego at a TSE many, many, many years ago. I think it was probably 2002, 2003. I can't even remember what year it was. And at that time, he had a catering company and a decor company. And when I heard him speak, it was like a light bulb went off. And I said, that's brilliant, because what we do is so integrated with each other, from the full concept and full execution of that concept, that it really, to me, was just brilliant. Well, we had a 5,000 square foot warehouse at the time. I shouldn't even say a warehouse. We had a 5,000 square foot tiny hole. And we purchased our new warehouse and building, which is 32,000 square feet, in 2007. Once we purchased that, we now have the warehouse space and the space to actually house all the products that we wanted to have. We finally bit the bullet in 2010 and started the decor brand, and brought on a gentleman that's just phenomenal as our creative director. And so our decor division has been able to grow just because of his involvement and our support and having the infrastructure and the inventory. No, it's not all or nothing. We have relationships with planners. We have relationships with other decor companies, and We do not want to insert ourselves and our brand divisions into someone's idea of what would be their perfect event. So I would say now that the economy is getting better, that the percentage is growing by leaps and bounds, just because people are wanting to have an event that has more of an impact rather than where it was 3, 4 years ago, where it's just get food on a table and that's all we really care about. We have to feed our staff and then what's done is done. But I am finding that our corporate market and even our nonprofit market for their galas are starting to really see the benefit of including, even if it's small elements, including these elements into the overall look of their event. And by having both under one house, where I don't want to say we're a one-stop shop, because I think that's kind of a large statement to make, but certainly we can handle both sides, and we know what inventory we have and what works well in different environments, and so it's really working well. I don't know what the real percentage is, but it's growing. I would say probably 50% of our corporate events now include some decor elements of some kind, and it might be a really unique buffet presentation that we have a master carpenter, so he might make something that's unique to us that we're able to incorporate, because people do want to make their events unique to them.
You know, all this stuff you're telling me is stuff that I just don't understand. I'm tired of this.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because I am I don't know if it's right brain or left brain, but I am the financial number cruncher. I am the one that gets that logic. My husband is on the creative side. So fortunately, we're kind of the yin and the yang. He cannot balance a checkbook to save his life, but he's wildly creative. The guy comes up with things that I don't even know where it comes from, and he is a great photographer, so he takes all of our photos. So really, we balance each other, because I don't feel, I guess compared to an accountant, I would probably say that, yes, I'm creative, but I don't feel myself strong in the creative side. And the funny thing is that many years ago, Kate said, how can you make a buffet look so great, but yet you can't figure out how to put one picture on the mantle in a place that makes sense? So I don't have that gift. I love the food side. I love serving guests. I love coming up with new menus. I am not a chef by trade, but I am really the number cruncher. I'm the one that keeps the financial statements and makes sure everybody's doing what they should be, and etc. So I leave the creativity up to him. That way we don't butt heads, unless he's spending too much money. So number of events, we probably do about 800 to 1,000 events a year, I'm guessing. But they're all staffed events. So that's where, some catering companies do have the delivery business, and that's probably another 2,000 events, which it is an event. I mean, no matter what you do, deliver 10 box lunches, it's still an event. But we don't have that side of it, so we do about 800 to 1,000 events a year. I haven't really looked at 2014 yet. I'm kind of afraid to. I don't know how many. It's been a lot. You know what? I have taken a stance that I have got a great directors team. So our top level management we call our directors, and they are our director of operations, director of sales, director of human resources, our creative director, chef de cuisine, the director of concessions out of the Denver Botanic Gardens. We've got this great team of people that I know are self-managed, and they manage their departments. So we divide and conquer. We've got a sales team of 6 right now. We want 6 plus 3 event services managers. We are going to be adding on another decor salesperson next year, as well as another catering salesperson, or I should say 451 event salesperson, because they can sell all of it. But it's very obvious that some people are more geared towards the food side and some towards the decor side, but they can do both. It's just, everybody has a role. Everybody knows what their role is. We have processes in place, and it's really a matter of giving everybody the ability to, for lack of a better term, really run their own business. They know what they need to do. They know how it needs to get done. We have extensive training that goes through it, and they just have the ability to basically run themselves. I don't like to micromanage. Like I said, we've got a great team, so I can't complain. I'm so fortunate, because I've got people that really love what they do. They love the company, And God knows how, but they love Kate and I, and we just keep plugging along. We have about 65 full-time employees right now, and that's 30 hours or more a week on average. And then we have about 250 part-time on-call staff, and those are the ones that go out to site to service the events. I would say for the most part, yes, we've had periods of growing pains where you know that you can barely keep up, and you know you need to add staff on, but you don't have time to add them on, or even putting out a job posting just to get even resumes in. I would say for the most part, it has been a slow, gradual, continual growth, except for the years of 2009, 10, 11, which we all know about, and 8. So we've been very fortunate there. This year, like I said, this did take us by storm, which has been phenomenal. Kate and I don't say in 10 years we want to be making $10 million. We want the company to be doing $10 million. A couple of years ago, we did have a financial consultant come in to kind of give us an idea of how we were comparing to best practices in our industry, so in the catering industry. It was kind of an eye-opening experience. We knew what our costs were. We knew what our sales were, and really had the infrastructure in place. Now we're adding on more staff to get to the next level, and I don't know what that next level is. Next year is about being better as opposed to being bigger. We want to be a better company and make sure every single event is serviced correctly, and that we're not taking on more than we can. We've subscribed to the thought of get the right people on the bus. And the people, once we get the right people on the bus will basically drive itself to the next destination. You said that. I mean, we know that we can't make gobs and gobs of money in this industry. There are much, much easier ways for the company to make a living. I was at an event recently schlepping, equipment stages up and down stairs. I don't do it every day, but it's a hard job. It's late nights, it's weekends, it's giving up family life, it's giving up free time, but I still love what I do. And I think sometimes our employees tend to wish that we had more of a long range, we want to be here in 2 years, 5 years, just because they want to know what they're working towards. So we're trying to kind of come to a comfortable medium where it says, all right, well, let's do it in baby increments then. Rather than looking at a 10-year plan, let's get it back. Let's see what do we want to do in 2 years, and then each year we'll kind of do a double check and do a check-in, make sure that we're getting to where we want to go and that the company is doing well. We've never said we want to be the biggest company in the world, but we want to be really great, and that takes time and effort and just dedication from all of our staff. But I do feel like you have to have this gene to be able to do this work, because this just what you said, you can make money in much easier ways. But if you love this business, you wouldn't imagine doing anything different. Cannot imagine having a Monday through Friday 9-to-5 job. It works really well for us, and I don't know how, to be perfectly honest. I will say this. Cade established several years ago, many years ago when we first started, that when we go home, we don't talk about work. So when we leave here, we drive separate cars to work every day. It wouldn't work for us to carpool anyway, just because of our schedules are being so wonky. He's in the kitchen at 7 a.m. and what have you. But we don't talk about work when we get home unless there's really something extremely important that we need to talk about. He is the creative side, and I am the financial side, so we work in different domains. I will tell you that our staff, when we're sitting in a conference room table and he's at one end, they actually separate us. I may or may not have kicked him under the table once or twice, but we're at opposite ends, and they do go back and forth, and we've had some really heated discussions in front of our staff, which probably should not have happened. But we're able to balance it out, and I'm not quite sure how it works together, but I don't know that I would want it any differently. If he was a restaurant chef, I would never see him, just because he would be working in the evenings up until the wee hours in the morning. And with our family, now that we're at the size that we are, Yes, we both go out to events, but we don't have nearly as many events that require our presence as it once did. So we really are able to, balance the time with our kids and really take care of ourselves in that way. And um, working together, I'm not quite sure how it works, but it does. And maybe it's because we have such different responsibilities with a company. But I'm not going to lie, there are times when I have literally kicked my husband just because I was so angry. Abuse, spousal abuse. Well, David Merrill, for one, with AOO events, he was a consultant for us when we started our decor division. We called him to come in and discuss with it because we had had a changeover in staff and really didn't know what we were doing and really needed his assistance. The man is brilliant. I absolutely adore him, and I probably hold him higher on a pedestal than pretty much anybody I know. But on the board, there's been some really amazing people on the board that have been past leaders that I just think are not only great business people, but solid personalities that I really respect. And I can tell you, I mean, I could go down the list of all the past presidents, from everywhere from David Deloach, who was the president when I first got involved way back when, to, Connie Riley and Kathy Miller and Terry Singleton, Brian Atchison. They're all an inspiration to me as being able to lead an organization. Jody and Judy are phenomenal people. I just really enjoy working with them. But from a catering side of it, I've reached out to, Kelly Early, who is in Indianapolis, who own catering companies, because those are the folks that I tend to reach out to when I have business questions, because they really are in tune to our business model. There's a lot of people that are involved in the Cater Source organization that are also members, that I reach out to them quite often as well. But I would really say that if I had to pick one person that kind of guided my path, which I probably didn't realize it at the time, it would probably be David Merrill. So lots of people have inspired me. Robert Wright, our marketing PR professional, is brilliant, and I have gone to him with marketing questions quite a bit just because I really respect the knowledge that everybody brings to the table in their own disciplines. We all run businesses, we're employed by this crazy business, and it's really nice to have people to bounce off to. When I have an employee issue, I can call someone and say, help, well, what would you do in this situation? Or if I have a contract issue, I can reach out to somebody else and say, how would you word this in your contract? So we don't live in silos. We really have to work together and share our knowledge. Kevin is very right. We all need to be talking to each other, and I really enjoy watching his videos just because they are an inspiration. Every time he gets one of those flip chart chats out, it's like, all right, that's a reminder. It's a refresher course. So I'm really enjoying his flip chart chats. They've been very, very inspirational. It's like, all right, I can do this. So he's amazing on that. You know what? I still just love events. I love people making people happy. I don't do sales very much anymore, so it's hard for me to really be. When I work with clients, I really enjoy the process of planning an event, or even just if it's just catering. I enjoy the process of planning catering. I really love that. I love my staff. I will be honest, there's times, just like they probably hate me sometimes, there's times that I'm like, oh my gosh, seriously, it's babysitting. But I know that it goes both directions, So I think for me, I still love the client interaction. I love making people happy. I love the satisfaction of knowing that we've made this event special for them. And it may be a very simple buffet dinner, but if it's special for them, then that's all that really matters. I think what I love the most is still that interaction with clients and knowing that I'm a part of their special day, if it's a wedding, or a special event if it's corporate, or whatever it might be. I really still enjoy that part of it. I don't like it when we don't perform up to expectations. And I don't like having to have conversations with clients when we haven't, because I'm disappointed not only in ourselves, because no one's perfect. I mean, everybody has mistakes. Fortunately for us, we don't have very many, but when we do, I know that I've made a negative impact on someone's event, and I hate those. But I use it as an opportunity to learn on how we could be better and make changes so that it doesn't happen again in the future. So what do they say? Employee or client complaints are not complaints, are opportunities for improvement. And that's really how we look at it: is where do we go awry? What did we do wrong to make this mistake? It's not just someone made a mistake. It's what did we do wrong in the process in order to get there. But we're human. Everybody does. I just don't like a lot. Yeah. I think what you said is, I mean, there's some times where the client is thrilled, has no idea, but it's the paddling underneath the water that causes us all to say, what are we doing wrong? Why did we have to work so hard to make this a good event? It shouldn't be hard. It should be second nature to all of us. And just like you said about the programs or whatever it might be, where do we go awry? Even if the client's thrilled, there's still a mistake that was made or something that wasn't done completely 100%, and we need to identify those and change it for the future. That's a really good and interesting question about the industry. Well, I think that the easy answer is obviously the economy improving has a great impact on our industry as a whole. It is allowing a lot of us the opportunity to do new, different, and more exciting events. And with that becomes being able to incorporate technology, being able to incorporate different elements that for the past several years we have not been able to do because it's a let's just feed our staff mentality. So the easy answer is the improving economy is really exciting for us. I also think that the global technology, being able to communicate easily via Google Hangouts or Skype or whatever with other people in different sectors of the world to find out what's new and different where they're working. So that's exciting, I think, in the events industry. I think I wish we could improve, and I think that ISES is really working on this, is really trying to improve our status as a contributor to the global economy worldwide. We're not party planners. We are contributors to live events, whether we're a caterer or a rental company or a planner or entertainment or what have you. We're all part of this great, huge industry. And I think one of the things that ISES is trying to do is really put our stake in the ground to say, this is what our industry contributes to the global economy, and we really need to recognize that. So I think that can be improved even more, and I know that the leadership with ISES is really working to make that happen, because we should all be talking, and we should be able to reach out to each other. I don't think it's still happening a lot. And I think there's definite improvements there. I think it's improving, but really putting our stake in the ground and saying, look at what we do, and please don't treat us like we are planning our sister's prom for the first time. That's not a problem, but we are a real industry. We are a force to be reckoned with. We are in an industry that means things to people. We are not just putting food on a plate or plugging in a light. We're much more than that. You guys are doing an amazing job in Austin.